Well, good evening, everyone. Still Redneck. Got a few words about what's going on today. Saw a few hypocritical things. As we all know, Congress is supposed to meet to go over the electoral votes. We all know Mr. Trump had a rally scheduled, and there was protests going to go on at the Capitol. All well and good, all well scheduled. Well, it was going on all the time. Yeah, Trump's talking him up, but he's also saying keep everything peaceful. Well, the minute they started walking toward the Capitol, D.C. mayor decided to put a 6 o'clock curfew on the city. Okay. Every other time Trump supporters have been out there, it's been nice and peaceful. And they're all out there talking their talk and all that. And then a few hotheads decided to break into the Capitol building. I don't agree with that. By doing that, you're no more than the Antifa mobs. I think anybody that was recorded going into the Capitol building or into the Congress or House or Senate, any of that, needs to be arrested. Trump supporters are usually right-wingers. They believe in the Constitution, the rule of law, all that. You're going to have bad apples in everywhere. I'm not making any excuses for them. But it's funny how the news media was covering for me how there's a mob. Yet when you had Antifa and Black Lives Matters burning down Minnesota, Kenosha, Portland, Seattle, it was a peaceful protest of people with grievances rights. You're right. If it's Trump people, it's a mob, an unruly mob. Also, let's clear up some facts here. Did I want Trump to win? Yes. But I also was under the mistaken impression, being as old as I am, that we would have at least close to fair elections. I didn't realize that the Democrats had planned this thing out fairly well, to have phony ballots in there, paid off judges, everything else. And all I got to say, people, is this. Yes, the Democrats got their mob. They'll never be able to control it. But now you're talking things, crazy things, like you want to invoke the 25th Amendment to get rid of Trump. Well, you got 2 weeks till Biden gets sworn in. That ain't enough time to get started on that. And now you're talking, you want to impeach him? Oh, what's next? You're going to throw him in jail for having a rally and talking to people? Isn't that what? Wait a minute. That's a constitutional right, isn't it? Yeah, I think so. Oh, wait. Democrats don't care about that. This goes out to all of the Republicans in office. You, panty waist pukes, could have made a hell of a difference in the last 4 years if you remembered one thing. You work for the people, not the people working for you. If you had given our president any backup at all, instead of saying, oh, I'm a Republican, but taking the Democrats' money, hope they paid you enough. You know? And as for all these judges, you say you're worried about riots in the streets and all that stuff. No, you weren't worried about that. You were worried about threats being made to your family, things like that, probably. Or somebody paid you off. One of these days, you little pussies are going to get your balls back, or ovaries, depending on your gender, and realize you need to do your job, or you won't have one. Because We may be forced to accept this election, but God willing, we won't accept another one. And as for the news media, you need to go back to being journalists instead of already bringing your own opinion into the stories. It's funny how most all the media is owned by 6 different people. And you hear one story on one channel, you hear the same story, maybe a different word thrown in here or there on the others. It's like watching little talking heads. You know, at least with Trump, he was doing what he said he would do. But you wanted Biden, who has done nothing in 47 years, except say yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. Pull on his door lock every time somebody gave him an order. And you wanted Kamala Harris, who was so hated she couldn't even draw 2% of the Iowa vote during the election process. Makes you wonder why she was picked. Then if you look at some of these clowns Biden's picking for his cabinet, most of them are Obama retreads, ones that served with Obama. So that tells you who's pulling the strings right there. And then for his director of national intelligence, you got a gal that's in the 90s, she ran an erotic bookstore. I didn't know that was qualifications to be a director of national intelligence. Things sure have changed. So be ready for a wild ride, people. I'd suggest you Democrats rest on your laurels and quit trying to push the buttons. You won't like where they go. I guarantee it. Ain't no threats being made. I don't want to see any violence. But I'd suggest all you people, and I use that word very loosely when it comes to Democrats and judges, need to think about what's going to happen. Sooner or later, the bell will toll for you. Have a nice evening, y'all. Old Redneck out.